It's time to talk about the TOZ-34. So the TOZ-34 is a hunting shotgun that should be a little bit better than it is in my humble opinion. So first, what does this thing do? Where do you get it? So you can get it as a common drop throughout all stages of the game. You can buy it from Hamster Shop. There's a few locations where there's brand new ones. It has 2 loaded shells, and it has the shotgun damage stat of 5. But in actuality, it has 150 base damage, according to the data dump from Reddit. The penetration and range stat, and the fact that it has 2 loaded shells, are the main things holding it back. But let's go over it anyways, just to see if it has any potential. So the upgrade tree for the TOZ-34. For the stock, we have a recoil decrease, an aiming speed decrease, so you aim faster, and then moving while aiming, 20%, so you're a little bit faster while aiming. And then for the thing here, the milled parts replaced with sand parts, weight reduction 30%. And then we have the rubber coating, which is a 15% recoil decrease. And then for the final upgrades, they actually have to be purchased in this order. You buy a rifled barrel and then extra barrel rifling. And what you end up getting is bullet range plus 10%, spread decrease 30%, caliber change. So you can only use slug rounds to get this upgrade, to get these damage increases, or the bullet range, I'm sorry. And then you get the damage increase against armored with the extra barrel rifling. So 50% penetration. But the thing that's unfortunate about this is it just increases its base penetration value of 1 to 1.5. So it isn't really competitive with any endgame shotguns. Of the upgrades, the best ones would be rifled barrel and extra barrel rifling. And then the rest, I would say, don't like these. I don't even recommend getting. They barely matter. And then for the weight reduction, that's fine. But the recoil decrease on like the boomstick and the TOZ just isn't really worth it. I kind of don't recommend running these long term in veteran mode, especially. So those are the upgrades. What else can this thing do? So let's actually take it out. So one thing to note about it is that it takes forever to switch to. And this is a feature of this weapon. Like, look at how he pulls it out. And look at, like, the Vector, for example. It just, like, pops up. So it has a long holster time. Like, compared to, like, the Vector. It has a long, like, holster and unholster time. So if you want to switch weapons, which you will because it only has 2 shots, you will quickly find that it just does not switch weapons quickly. Now for attachments, this weapon cannot accept any attachments ever. So the only thing it can ever do is have this like bead, which is pretty accurate, but the range stat does limit this thing. So a fully upgraded TOZ has these stats. So penetration value of 1.5, the damage stays the same at 150. We know that from the info dump or the game, whatever, they like pulled the data from the game. Rate of fire, it shoots pretty fast, but has 2 shots. The accuracy is decent. Now, when you're on slug rounds only, you do have a single projectile. So when you fully upgrade this thing, like I think they should balance it, like they should buff it a little bit. Because right now, its penetration value is too low to one-shot a lot of enemies, and its range stat is too low to really leverage the slug rounds. So what you end up having, if we were to kind of start fighting dudes, you have like 2 shots, and then you have a reload that isn't terrible. But you can kind of see, like, if you miss a shot, or if you just like if you don't get a headshot, it typically will not kill. So it's really not that good. If you're like perfect, like if I just switch the Vector right now. Oh, is this guy not able to die? Hold on, I think I just like headshotted him a few times there. Alright, there he goes, he's dead. If you like switch to a different platform, like even the Vector, which isn't even really one of the best weapons in the game, it's just decent. Like you can pop heads and like kill humans. So I think the issue with the TOZ is really that it has no use case, because against mutants, there's so many better options. Even going full auto is just better against mutants. Against humans, it's not really good. Even with armor penetrating rounds, as you saw there, like I was hitting the guy with armor penetrating rounds, I wasn't even one-shotting him. So it's like, it just doesn't do enough damage to like justify using it. Now these are low armored humans that get one-tapped by pretty much every weapon in the game. So look at that, I body shot him at a range that should one-shot him. So you have to get headshots with it for it to be remotely effective. And with buckshot, you just have less penetration and less range. So you're not going to be getting as consistent of kills. So it's almost like the weapon requires you to be a headshot machine that never misses a single shot. It has bad switch to time, and it also has bad capacity with no like future for it. So it's basically like an upgraded boomstick, and it's very efficient in terms of ammo cost. But against mutants, like the breakpoints on this thing are terrible. So what are breakpoints? Breakpoints are how many of a thing is required to get to a result. So one headshot gets you a kill, 2 body shots gets you a kill. Those are breakpoints to get the result of a kill. So when fighting like boars, which have a 1 times headshot multiplier, it takes 2 TOZ shots, and boars typically rush you like 3 to 4 at a time. So even against like basic mutants, it doesn't even one-tap them, which is terrible because it has 2 loaded capacity, which then forces a reload. And compared to other weapons that are good at killing humans, like it just lacks range. Wait for this guy to stop moving. He actually dodged me there. But look at this. The Vector one-tap that guy from this range. The TOZ cannot achieve that, which is unfortunate because slug rounds are... Let's see. That's a body shot. I'm getting tagged. Let's get a nice clean shot. Let me get some distance to just show like it's just not good at range. Looks like he dodged there. The other thing too is like its sights aren't really that good. I mean, it's like pretty open, like you can see, but it's really only good at close range. Without the penetration upgrade endgame, it just has no future. And like in general combat, you can kind of see like the pressure I'm under just because of like the slow fire rate. Because like if you're in a rush to get a headshot and you have 2 capacity, like if I have the Vector out, it's like no big deal. I just like start tapping heads. So like look at the difference between, I mean, this is considered an endgame weapon, but if I was running an MP5 with a holo, I could do the exact same thing at that range. So like against like any standard weapon, it just doesn't have huge value. All right, so ammo types. There's also expansive ammo, and I think that's it for the shotguns. They just have those 3. I'm pretty sure that's it. But with this thing, you really just want to be running slugs anyways if you fully upgrade it. And even then, it's like you have to get perfect headshots. You know, you can't throw any attachments on it. That's like your best case scenario right there, is like you hit a guy. But like I said, like against mutants, against bloodsuckers, it takes like 4 to 5 shots. And if you can get headshots, maybe it takes like 3 to 4. But I was fighting bloodsuckers in the swamp earlier with this thing, and it just was not putting out damage. And the other thing too is like I was fighting a deer, and I was getting really in its face with slug rounds, which penetrate armor, so that should get through the deer's armor. And it just wasn't dealing meaningful damage to the deer. I had to put like 10 slugs into it in order to kill, which is pretty bad actually. I think I'm about to die right now. Getting this like TOZ fight. All right, so we died in the TOZ fight, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, like overall, it's a kind of cool weapon. I like the way it looks, but it's just not good. Its range is really limited. It's not really good at fighting mutants. It doesn't have any meaningful upgrades that really push it over the edge. The main things going for it is that it's cheap to repair and cheap to upgrade, but the upgrades aren't really that good. And literally any weapon is better at fighting humans because it can one-shot, headshot at better ranges. Like legitimately, Skiff's pistol is more effective than this thing, and I'll prove it right now. Like Skiff's pistol, the starter weapon, which has like 2 upgrades, is just a straight up better weapon system. It's better against mutants. It's better at like staying stealthy. If this was the TOZ, I just wouldn't be able to do that. So like against humans, Skiff's pistol's better, and against mutants, Skiff's pistol's better, because like you can actually kill with like armor penetrating rounds. You can kill some decent mutants. Like you can probably take out 2 to 3 boars with a single magazine of ammo. And you could also take out several humans in a row while also being silenced. So like compared to just like the starting weapon, it's just not that good. Now you can run it if you like it. I wish it had better upgrades. I wish it had better range, but it just doesn't do enough to justify running. And when you're in firefights with humans, you have to have like perfect aim. You can't miss a single shot. You have 2 kills loaded. Like right there, I whiffed because I got aim punched a bit. And it's like the frame rate drops a little bit. So like you miss a single thing and you die. Whereas with Skiff's pistol, I can miss like a shot or 2 and be fine. And just continue fighting. So yeah, TOZ, do I recommend it? No. Is it worth upgrading? No. Should you run it? ever? Probably not. It's not a good backup weapon. It takes too long to switch to. It just has too many problems. All right, so let's be constructive though. What would I do to fix this weapon if I wanted to make it better? How would I improve this weapon? So obviously it has 2 loaded shells, so that probably can't be changed. So the 2 loaded capacity, I would decrease its switch to time so it switches faster. I would increase its base range and penetration to 2 on both, and then increase the penetration for the slugs and the range from the slug upgrade so that it gets 3 base penetration and 3 base range, so that at the very least it can be used as a cheap poke weapon that could do meaningful damage. And I'd also increase its base damage to 250 or maybe even 300. And I would also do something similar to the boomstick, but make it more damage oriented, less range oriented. Now, is this logical? Not really, because if you shoot a shotgun shell, the projectiles, you know, if the barrel lengths are the same and, you know, there's no other weird system going on, like the damage should be similar between shotguns. But for the sake of like game design, I think that would be fine. I would boost its base damage, its base range, and its base penetration. Because like at the end of the day, if they want more weapons to be viable, that would be one way to do it. Because right now it's just worse than Skiff's pistol, like straight up. Skiff's pistol, cheap to, like it literally outclasses a shotgun for like killing things, which is weird. Now against mutants, you could argue this is slightly better, like against like bloodsuckers, but if you get headshots, like clean headshots with armor penetration rounds on Skiff's pistol, it will outperform this, and that is true of most weapons. And also consider that when you fully upgrade this, you're running armor penetration rounds. Slugs are the AP rounds for shotguns, so it's not like let's try to get a clean headshot here and see if we can kill. Yeah, I hit him. 2 headshots at this range that didn't even kill him. He's still alive. That's really bad. So like, what's the point of it? And also it can't get attachments too, so there's just too many problems with it. It's a starter weapon. Maybe they just want to leave it bad. That's fine too. All right, so that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, found this useful. Let me know if I missed anything about the weapon, of course, and I'll see you next one. Peace.